biggest emotion to deal with can be summed up with feelings of discomfort. Whatever that looks like to you, discomfort is what I'm going to call it today. But it may be sad or worried or scared, any emotion that we just don't like. And 9 times out of 10, the discomfort comes because we are dealing with something new or change. It's uncertainty or unfamiliar. And it is the contrast of what we are used to, actually, that causes the discomfort. When the new experience becomes our normal experience, then the discomfort lessens. So it's all just about the contrast. Remember at the end of the movie Castaway, Tom Hanks is put up in a beautiful hotel room and he ends up sleeping on the hard floor. To most of us, we would have a sleepless night on that hard ground, but because that was what he was used to, there was not the same. It was more comfortable. And emotionally, we function the same way. Like when a loved one passes away, the grief may overwhelm us. But as time moves forward, like it does, that discomfort, it shifts into something else. And it's not like it becomes pleasant. I don't think that Tom Hanks in Castaway had a pleasant night's sleep on the floor. But he and us, we acclimate to it. That's what has happened. My hope today is to forge a path for you to move through discomfort in life with a new perspective. I don't know about you, but if the suffering from discomfort comes because I cannot imagine it living or being this different way for the rest of my life, it's overwhelming to me. I think I can't live this way. And so the period of time seems too much. And what has helped me is to realize that time-wise, the feeling uncomfortable will only last until the newness wears off. The situation might not change, but my discomfort will change. Several years ago, my arm or my shoulder started to hurt, and I couldn't even raise my arms above my head, and I suffered with it, and soon even the other arm started to hurt in the same place. And my friend had just had surgery on her rotator cuff, so I was sure the doctor would head me down that path, and I did not want to do that just out of inconvenience and pain, and fear of the pain. So it took me a few months before I went to the doctor, and finally it was bad enough. Of course, the discomfort was bad enough. I did something about it. But instead of surgery, my doctor wanted me to do physical therapy. So that's what I did. And the first assessment was a little bit comical. I could not do most of what he asked me to do. My arms would shake so bad. He gave me exercises that were very simple and asked me to do them twice a day. I just had to, twice a day, I was to do 3 sets of 10 for 5 simple exercises. And that week I was vigilant about doing it. And when I went back the next week, I was so proud that my mobility had improved in that short period of time. And then he said to double my reps. And once again, I was back to shaking, and I couldn't believe that it felt like I was starting all over again. But I did it. And the next week, he said, then it was time to add weights. Each time the discomfort was there, I was surprised that my body took to it and was able to move through it, even though it was difficult. Before I'd gone to the doctor, I had felt like I hadn't held back from the pain. I had not babied the pain. But until I first accepted the pain and moved toward it, I probably wouldn't have gotten better. I had to accept it, and then on each level, I had to do it again. Each level of discomfort required its own perseverance. Feeling uncomfortable is not always physical, like my story. The physical is the easiest sometimes, and that's why we might somatize feelings. Somatization is when our emotions or thought patterns create dis-ease or discomfort in the body. In my opinion, sometimes it's just we can't handle it mentally, and so it's easy to work with it physically. And working with the chakras is kind of like emotional physical therapy. It really does help. So as a quick introduction, we have places in our bodies that process certain experiences. For the eyes, light waves are brought into the eye, and along with the brain, we see objects, which in all reality are reflected light. And the ears process sound waves the same way, and the nose scent. And the waves of light come into the ears, and sound comes into the eye, but they are not processed there. So the chakras have been around for millennia, but they have all been forgotten in the Western world, though we interact with them all the time, and I'll explain that more as I go through the actual chakras. But it's important to understand that they process different things like the ears, nose. So starting at the tailbone, we have what we call the root chakra, and the actual feet are part of the root chakra too. And I have a great video on that. You can go to the Wholeness Network YouTube channel, and we have wholeness hacks there, and I do a whole video on the foot chakra. But the root chakra processes the experiences of stability, belonging, feeling at ease on the earth, and the foundations of life, how we feel grounded, right? The sacral chakra sits above the belly or below the belly button, and it supports the creative process, both physical, as this is where the sexual organs are housed, and creation, as in the things we create mentally, emotionally, and physically. It's the experience of creation. This also houses our gut feeling, a decision maker that creates the outcomes in life. When this chakra is cleared and open, it is easy to rely on that gut feeling. And when it is closed, or this is something the chakras can overproduce, they can be in overage mode, but it's still out of balance. And in this case, decisions might be difficult if our sacral chakra is off. That gut decision maker is not there to help us. It's also related to relationships, the sacral chakra. The solar plexus sits above the belly button, and many refer to it as the power chakra. When this is balanced, it will support feelings of personal power. So think about this. We understand the concept. We kind of talk, it comes up where we feel like somebody has punched us in the gut. We have an experience and we feel that punch in the gut, we might say. And think about this next time. In what ways did that person take away your personal power? Or did you feel like your personal power was taken away? Or think about this, when you're nervous about something, many times we get a stomach ache, and this is the power chakra in action. And it's either ramping up, telling us it's time to go. It's, the energy's moving there because it's like, you're going to need this power. You're going to need this power. Like if you're talking in public or something, or it's telling you warning, but you're going to need the power. The heart chakra is in the chest, and its purpose is love. The lower chakras, the one I just explained, are the human experiences, and maybe they're more concrete, and where the upper chakras, and we'll get to them in a minute, are more non-physical or ethereal or something. Their experiences are kind of different, and the impact is seen physically in the lower, but not in the higher. And the heart is the bridge to these upper and lowers. And I love that love is the experience that connects them. Both are loved, the physical experiences and the non-physical. When we are experiencing the feelings of love, we are often compelled to put our hand on our heart. And this energy, it's the energy that pulls us there without us even being aware of the chakras. But that's one of the ways that we have naturally connected with the chakras, even in the Western world. Moving up to the neck is the throat chakra, and this is our individuality experience, or our truth. Our emotions are distinguishable through the voice. And my friend Christy has a company, it's called Vibonics, that has a computer program that uses the voice to actually help you recognize so that you can process your emotions. It tells you right there on a printout what you're feeling. It's fabulous. The third eye chakra is located in the center of the forehead, and this is our intuition, which is more than just thinking. This experience is seeing all the angles of things. It's really a seeing. And we are naturally guided again to this energy when we want to know something or remember something. We might touch there, like think about that. That's just a natural way that the chakra has showed up for us. And finally, the crown chakra sits at the top of our head, and it's our connection to God or our higher selves. And if you've ever had your hands placed on your head for a blessing or any kind of spiritual experience, this energizes the crown chakra, and it allows for a greater connection to strengthen you and to connect you to heaven. That's the point of it. When we feel discomfort in the body, you can ask yourself if the discomfort is housed in one of these areas, like, are you having a headache or is your chest hurting? And you can ask yourself questions about the current situation you're having and see if that is something that supports you. Or if you're experiencing something like heartache or worry or not feeling like you belong or trouble in relationships or connection to God, then you can use exercises or activities that support that particular chakra, and it really does help. You can wear the colors of the chakra. They're the colors of the rainbow, starting with red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, purple. You can also use natural stones or crystals to support those, or essential oils. And something really quick about these, I brought a couple of essential oils and a couple of stones or crystals. Just they each hold a certain vibration that supports you. And I'll just say, sometimes, here's the thing, when it comes to essential oils or crystals, I wish that I had the same exact experience every time I use them, but I don't. But yet sometimes I've had experiences where they have just been exactly what I needed. First of all, essential oils seem to be the best for me in helping my emotions or the discomfort shift. And so many times I will go to my collection of essential oils, and I have my process for picking one out, and then I get my book out and read what that emotion or what that essential oil supports emotionally, and it's always right on. I can't believe it. Just that little bit of assurance that I get from reading what it represents actually helps me. So maybe that's a piece of it. When it comes to stones, I just have had a couple experiences that were really impactful. And so I don't get those experiences every single time, but the ones that have come that have been impactful are enough for me to use them as a tool. And one time I had been at home all weekend long and had this searing headache, right? It was just almost just like a disc right here. It was a strange headache. And I struggled with it all weekend long and took my ibuprofen and drank my Diet Coke trying to get rid of it. It was different than my usual headaches. And I went to work the next week, and we had decided to go to a shop where they have crystals, and I picked up one of the stones, and within 2 seconds that headache was right back. And I held it for a minute, and I couldn't believe it. So I had to buy that stone, and I held it for probably 20 minutes, didn't even know what it was, and took it, and within 20 minutes the headache was gone. But I looked at what the stone represented, and it matched something that had happened that weekend that I was able to work through and clear for myself. So that was really impactful, and I've had several of those experiences. But like I say, other times I'm struggling with certain thing, I'll pick up the corresponding crystal and the discomfort doesn't go away. So that's the time to get curious about what's going on, because it's not about pushing the discomfort away. It's about learning from it. It's about growing and becoming more at ease within our disease.